You must always have the moral integrity to
Mm,
do what you think is right and not be intimidated by the seniority of the people that you are dealing with. It's easy to say that, but I watched, as I became more senior and I find myself in the White House Situation Room and in the Oval Office, and I'm watching the cabinet and I'm watching deal with the President of the United States, and I'm being asked to provide an input and deal with particular situations. I'm watching the way people are talking, and I'm thinking to myself, you really don't believe, you're really uncertain. What you seem to me to be projecting is uncertainty, but you're trying to mask it. And you've got to be willing to speak truth to power. I still
yeah.
remember I'd been in the job about a year. I'm with the national security team, and we're briefing President Obama because he liked to talk every 2 weeks about the ISIS campaign. The combatant commanders, CENTCOM, Special Operations Command, Cyber Command would be present, with the secretary, and then we did kind of an intelligence where I was there with NSA in the sit room with the president, CIA, the director of national intelligence, the cabinet part of the national security team. And at the end of an update one day, he out of the blue, he turns to me, President Obama, and he says, "Hey, Mike, we're spending a lot of money in the post, Snowden era to ensure our security is enhanced. Can you assure me that this money that we're spending will assure that we'll never have another security incident like this again?" And I'm sitting here thinking, "Oh, this is interesting." I got the Secretary of Defense, my boss is there, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs is there, the vice president, the chief of staff, national security advisor, the cabinet. And I said, "No, sir, I can't guarantee that. What I believe that this investment will do is ensure that a breach of this magnitude and this duration becomes highly unlikely. But if you
Mhm.
want me to guarantee that we'll never have another security breach, if it's designed by man, it can be defeated by man. No, sir, I don't think I could say that to you." And President Obama says, "Thanks, Mike," walks out. And I'm looking and I can tell the Secretary of Defense is a little unhappy with my answer because he felt, Mike, you should have projected more confidence. And I said, "Sir, I'm trying to be realistic." I didn't think a thing about it. 2 years later, at the end of the Obama administration, I get involved in something that turned out to be very political. I wind up on the front page of the
Mm.
Washington Post, the New York
Oh.
Times, the Wall Street Journal. And in this article, which was leaked by my boss tells the world, "Oh, I wanted to fire Rogers." And I wanted to fire him for some amount of time. President Obama reaches out to me and, says he wants to apologize that I got undercut like that in the media. I thought, "Well, sir, you got much bigger things to worry about than me." But I literally we do another update meeting. It's now this newspaper thing is out, and President Obama expresses his frustration that members of the team are undercutting each other, and he talks about how that is not loyalty, that is not professionalism, and I don't wanna ever see anything like that again. I get asked to stay behind with the chief of staff, and so I'm in the chief of staff of the White House's office, and I'm just waiting, and I said, "Dennis, why am I here?" And I said, "Look, if my boss wanted to fire me, the president can always do that." And he said to me, "Mike, President Obama was never gonna fire you. You remember that time 2 years ago he asked you that question about Snowden?" He said, "Mike, he has never ever forgotten that. He always raises this about you, that he knows that you will be somebody that always tells him the truth no matter how uncomfortable it might be." He said, "Mike, he had your back every day after that." So again, I'm thinking to myself, I didn't know that, number 1. Number 2, I didn't think I did anything exceptional. I just tried to speak truth to power. Hey, that's what I'm supposed to do. You just so I one of my takeaways from that experience was always speak truth to power, because the price of not doing that could be much higher than you realize at the time.
Mhm.
And once you go down that road, it is really hard to get your boss's confidence back in you when you go down that road.